Hey, this is 1 Timothy chapter 2, instructions about worship. This is a famous passage of scripture that people have used to make men lift their hands whenever they worship. I'm just joking. This is actually a famous passage that's been used to keep women um, submissive and quiet and stuck in subservience and position because it's been taken out of context. So there's a couple things when we're reading the Bible. One is revelation, which is God's big design for the world. The other is contextualization, which is what this means in light of everything else around it. So not just taking one verse out of scripture and saying, oh, this is what it says, but actually saying, how does that look in the big context of things? And the third thing is application, which is, what does that mean for me today? How does that apply to my life today, a couple thousand years later? What does that look like? And so in this passage of scripture, that's some of the things we want to do. The revelation, of course, is that God has some ideas about worship and that he wants his people to worship him and that he wants it to be a beautiful and gracious thing that would reflect his character. And the context, of course, is to Timothy in this church specifically and the issues that he's dealing with. He's trying to actually instruct Timothy on dealing with specific issues that are facing Timothy as he's learning to lead and be a leader. Now, one of the things happening in the background that Timothy's dealing with is there's a cult to the goddess of Diana, and the cult actually employs women to lead seductively. So part of the worship in this cult is fertility. It's around fertility, so it's very highly sexual. And the cult used to use very seductive women to lead in this sort of sexualized way. And so if you don't know that background, this will read differently. If you know that background and then you read this chapter again, it makes some sense that Paul is saying, okay, modest dress, right? And actually, you know what? Just don't even go there right now, because if those women, if that's what they're coming from, then that's how they're going to lead, and that's not how we want things to be led here. And so the context is key. The wider thing, we know that Paul does not want women to speak because he names women apostles and deacons and commissions women to be with him on church planting teams and host churches and teach and all sorts of things. So we know that that can't be what Paul is saying overall, because it doesn't match the general revelation. It doesn't match the context of the rest of Paul's writings. But we do know that to apply it today means that we need to honor God. When we worship, when we speak, when we teach, when we lead, those need to be God-honoring things. We can't use or seduce or sexualize things. We actually, or manipulate people or any of those things. We want to actually be God-fearing folk. I hope that helps you as you worship God, and I hope your worship is pure and beautiful and God-honoring today.